Did you know the average home remodel costs between $17,000 and $72,000?
Well, that's ridiculous.
So with that in mind, let's talk about how you can do that very same thing without borrowing a dime. So right out of the gate, I'm just gonna hit you with it. You need to be out of debt. I know this is controversial, but for this to work, you've just gotta do it. If you're hell-bent against getting out of debt, you're gonna need two things: a very large income and very little debt. Well, why? Well, let me show you. In 2019, the average household median income was around $68,000. So let's use that as a rough estimate. Now, let's say that the government takes around 15% of that. You'll be left with around $57,800. Divide that math by 52 weeks, and that means every week you'd bring home around $1,111 or $4,444 per month. That's of course before insurance costs or 401k contributions. The reason it's so important to have no debt or very little debt is because this is where the numbers really start to matter. You only have so many nickels going into the piggy bank.
Every nickel that we spend is a nickel that we have to steal.
And once the nickels are gone for that month, you're done. If you spend all of those nickels on payments, there's nothing to go to get, say, a laundry room done or whatever else you're wanting to get remodeled. So let's pretend you don't listen. Let's pretend that you're normal. Normal people go take out a HELOC and they have their remodel done in a couple of months. But normal people are also stressed out and they're broke. So let's take a look and see what normal actually gets you. Let's say you've got the average car payment in America, which right now is around $500. Now let's say your spouse also has a payment like that. Instantly, that's $1,000 left from that $4,444 we mentioned a minute ago, and now you're at $3,444 left. Now, when it comes to debt, a mortgage payment is the only thing that we allow ourselves leniency on. Don't get me wrong, we have every intention of paying our house off early, and if you can do this, it's just icing on the cake when it comes to remodeling without debt. Now, according to several different sources online, the average mortgage payment is around $1,400 per month. So now our roughly $3,444 that we were talking about a minute ago just went down after we subtract that off to about $2,000 left for the month. Next, when we think about food, well, a quick glance online shows that the average household spends around $400 on groceries. I don't know about you, but our family of four exceeds that, but we'll use that number nonetheless. Now let's talk about dining out. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average household spends around $250 per month dining out. So you combine those two, and now we're deducting $650 from our $2,000 remainder, which brings us down to about $1,350. Now let's deduct utilities. According to U.S. Energy Information Administration, the average electric bill is around $115. The average water bill is around $72. The average gas bill is between $60 and $100. We'll split the difference and we'll say about 80 bucks. The average cell phone bill for a family of four is about $170. Also, most people finance a couple of phones in the mix there too, which easily ends up being about $30 a month. So let's just assume two people in that family of four. So we're gonna add about 60 bucks to that as well. So now we end up subtracting $495 from the remaining $1,350, which leaves us about $855. Don't forget about gasoline for your vehicles. Since gasoline always fluctuates, it's hard to get a good estimate, but for most people, $150 per month per household probably isn't unreasonable. Now you've got about $700 remaining. The average student loan payment each month is somewhere in the ballpark of $225. Now we're at $475 left. Add in the $110 average minimum payment of most people's credit cards, and now we're sitting around $365. And that's all before we add in Netflix, clothing, date nights, 401k contributions, insurance, or anything else that we can think of. It's kind of depressing. So with all that in mind, you can see why it's so important to get those debts out of your life. If you eliminate the vehicle payments, the credit cards, student loan payments, cell phone payments, you're gonna easily free up around $1,400 a month. That starts to sound a lot better. And so long story short, remodeling your home with zero debt requires cash, not loan. Next up, remodeling your home with zero debt requires patience. As you saw in the previous scenario, most likely you're gonna be doing this with $1,000 to $1,500 at a time per month. In our case, a kitchen remodel took us about 4 months. The key thing to remember here though is that when you're done with your remodel, you're done. You're not paying it back for the next 10 years. For us, we have a projected timeline of about 2 years for the entire remodel of our home. Some of that timeline is the finances, and then some of it's just because we're doing it ourselves on the weekends. Realistically, we can only do so much each week. Third, set up a budget and start saving. At this point in the game, you gotta decide whether you're gonna do the work yourself or if you're gonna hire it done. If you're doing it yourself, you can do the project as you get time and money. If you're gonna hire it out, it's a little different, but the concept's still the same. Instead of doing a little bit at a time, you'll wanna save your budgeted amount in full over the course of several months, and then once you've got the cash, call the contractor and let them get started. It's worth noting though, as with many things in life, some of these things will be a bit unpredictable, and most likely there will be a few monkey wrenches thrown in the project at some point.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What?
Be prepared for that. Have a good emergency fund, or even budget an extra $1,000 or so and have it set aside for when you realize that you miscalculate something or there's some other unforeseen circumstance that happens during the remodel. Your blood pressure will thank you later. Doing a remodel without debt is not an easy task. It takes a lot of preparation, work, and patience. And if you're married, it takes also you and your spouse being on the same page. For my wife, Jess, and I, everything's not always peaches and cream. Sometimes we're tired, we're impatient, our tempers flare, but at the end of the day, we know that this is the best way for us to take this on. We're able to look around and we see the progress that we've made, and we have absolutely no loans or credit card payments that are hiding in the closet to haunt us later. Now, if you've got more questions about getting out of debt, hit us up on Instagram or in the comments below. And if you'd like to hear about our debt-free journey, we got a video queued up right here that talks all about it.